documenting a structure that we found last night.
I'll go up to the house, bang on it, and say, "I don't believe."
Yeah.
Now,
What the fuck was that?
Did you hear that?
Let's play it. Good? Hey, what's up, guys? This is Leo with Everyday Legacy Paranormal, along with Road Trip Paranormal, and this is episode 17 of the Cryptic Heartland podcast. This is the podcast that talks about everything from paranormal to UFOs to Bigfooting, pretty much everything under the sun. I'll take clips. And then some. To my left, I got Jason. Go ahead.
Jason with Everyday Legacy Paranormal, Road Trip Paranormal, Ghost Tours of Kansas, and Bigfoot in Kansas.
And his left.
Michelle, Everyday Legacy, Road Trip Paranormal.
Combine them. And in the studio, man behind the board, it's
I'm Max. Everyday
AKA
Legacy, Road Trip, whatever
AKA
Jason wants me to do. It's fine.
ELP.
Yeah. It is, I said Everyday
I hear
Legacy.
you. I was too busy talking over you, talking about what I'm about ready to call
see,
you. AKA Baby Cakes.
Crap, yeah. Ruby's not here tonight,
Yeah.
though.
And then we also have my son in the studio. He's back there playing games. His name is Leo. He may ask a question every now and then. Woo! That was him. And like I said, we do record in a haunted location, so you never know who else may join us on set. In studio, you may hear an additional voice, not ours. You may see something that may not be us. You never know what you're going to catch. So, with that being said, how's everybody doing this weekend? And anything new going on?
Not much. Not much. Been watching the storms out there and
Yeah.
keep an eye out on
3 reported
you know,
dead.
Texas. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got quite a few
Okay.
people down there. Some relatives, some friends down there. Everybody keeps saying they're doing good, doing okay.
I mean, they're having boats in the streets that's doing searches for everybody. It's crazy out
Yeah.
there.
It's a scary situation.
They may get 50 inches by the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've seen quite a bit of pictures where major highways used to be right here, and now it's just up water, you know, up to the signs and up to the stoplights, and it's just a scary situation down there. So,
Houston looked like it was just dead silent
Yeah.
with the storm looming in on it. And I saw that video this morning, and somebody was capturing that on their phone.
yeah. Last report I heard is supposed to hopefully backtrack and go back out to sea, maybe they're thinking.
Really?
Versus usually it goes all the way in and we get some kind of rain and everything
Yeah.
after that. But so far it hasn't really said anything. I think we're okay. And,
I think some rain tonight, but nothing.
you know, like we should
No. It is playing some weird tricks with weather-wise. I mean, this is still August, and the evenings are feeling like fall.
Yeah, I know.
Right now already.
It hasn't really been
Even the
100
mornings.
degrees.
Yeah, mornings.
Yeah, mornings it's almost chilly in some days. It's just crazy.
I love it though.
Yeah, definitely. It's football weather. I like it.
Definitely
I'm ready for
football.
it. I'm ready for it. So, also, people at home, remind you that you can take part of the podcast by chiming in on the right on the live chat. Sign in, Google, here's your Gmail accounts, and I didn't do it. Sorry, point. Max gave me the finger. I don't know what he's doing. You can do live chat on the right hand side. We'll answer your questions on air, or if you're feeling a little fancy or saucy, call in, man. I mean, nobody's called in yet. Be that first person. Take the lead. Show the other people at home how to do it. The phone number's at the very bottom. It's 316-617-1232. Once again, that's 316-617-1232. Call in. We'll hear you on air. Make a fool of yourself. Come on, we do it every week, so why can't you, right?
Absolutely.
Join us. The dark side has cookies.
That's right. Wait, there's cookies? So, last week we talked about some cool, fun things of, pop culture and just things throughout history, some famous curses and things of that nature. Superman, Bruce Lee, we thought we didn't know if it's cursed or if it's just bad luck.
And then the favorite moment of last episode.
My favorite moment. The Robert the Doll really wasn't a curse, other than the doll may be cursed, but or is, should I say? And as we're discussing this, having a little bit of a chuckle. I know the podcast went blank, you know, and that's unusual. Yeah, so maybe it's true. I don't know. I mean, I'm not willing to test fate on that. Are you?
No.
How about you, Michelle?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think Bob's powers extend.
Yeah. Bob, hey, oh, Robert, don't
Over
anger
here,
her. Come on.
Bob.
Oh,
Call him Bob.
she's
She
getting
did it. She did it.
If he does it again, now then maybe I'll start. But
Bob the
I think
doll.
it's a kind of.
Robert the doll.
It's Robert the doll.
Robert, okay,
If
well,
you remember our
I just
beginning episode,
I just gave
Yeah.
him a nickname.
we were talking about Robbie, and we had a lot of things
Oh yeah.
happen, and then
That's
we
when the
talked
name
about
called.
Robert.
That's right.
With the name called. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a coincidence, but
Yeah.
kind of fun to think about.
Yeah. I mean, you never
It's a
know.
coincidence when it happens more and more often.
Yeah.
When you do this.
We need to like come up with a matrix. If it happens 3 times, coincidence. 4 times, we're screwed. It's fine.
I thought it was fool me once. I'm kidding, anyways.
Say Beetlejuice 3 times. He appears.
He's behind you.
So with that being said, we're gonna also kind of.
I have a question before we start. I'm
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead, sorry.
I want to hit on last week real quick.
Okay.
Just-
Yeah.
I want to talk to Michelle.
No.
Even though it looks like I'm looking at
Okay.
you.
We can go home. Let's go.
Okay.
You made your point clear about how you feel about a number of topics that we've discussed. I want to know, do you actually think any curse is real? Like, you think of one and go, yep, that's definitely a curse. But these other ones, guys, the Lees, no.
It doesn't have to be one that we
I-
talked about. It can be any
Yeah, any of
random
them.
one.
To cover it all of it, I think in order for a curse, voodoo, whatever, to be effective, you have to believe in it.
Okay.
No, that's a good answer.
That is a very good
It's the wrong
answer.
answer. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, that's a
that's
good
good.
point. That's a great point.
That's my thinking on it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad I asked.
No, I am too.
Yeah, I know sometimes I'm just
Average mind.
one of those seeing is believing type person,
Yeah.
and I just have a hard time thinking that all this evilness is out there and it's just hitting random people and things. And if it's so powerful, there's got to be some intelligence behind it.
Right.
Or why is it, you know?
Right.
But
Food
go
for
ahead.
thought.
No, go ahead. Continue. I like what you said. I mean, that's a good point. That's kind of with anything. Ghosts, Bigfoot, UFOs.
Exactly.
You got to believe in it in order to really take notice of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people walk this earth every day thinking that ghosts don't exist? There's more than I care to.
Ruth and I talked to a guy last night. He's like,
Really?
"You guys are full of it." And I'm like, "Okay."
You know, that's my favorite thing is going into a case where maybe the husband will say is not a total, I don't believe this crap you're doing. My wife believes in it, I'm just kind of doing it to humor her kind of a thing. And then
Yeah.
we go in there and he takes it apart and he comes out, his eyes are this big, he's like, oh my God, I believe what she said now. You can have the case up in here with us up in, no, you weren't up there that night, I'm sorry. Up at the private home up north, Teachai?
No.
Okay.
But
That
it
was the
happened
case.
in Wilson at,
Yeah, yeah.
the husband said, I don't believe, and he came up, I don't know what happened
Yeah.
in there, but something happened.
Yeah. And I mean, even if it's not 100% they change their mind, I'm not saying we're not here to prove, like we always say, we're not here to prove a haunting or disprove a haunting for that matter. We're just here to figure out what's going on and also basically can whoever lives there or works there, can they coexist in that environment without being afraid of their work environment or their home in general. So
Well, I would like to say that the reason I believe, and I mean, we give them names, ghosts, spirits, whatever.
entities, right?
But I know there's something there from what our investigations have proven to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know there's shadows, I know there's voices,
Mm-hmm.
and
Bob.
I think
Bob's
one
with us.
of my favorite things about knowing Michelle and her daughter Paula is one of the first real investigations I got to go with you guys, aside from the forum, was at a private home out in West Wichita. And
Remember that night?
never got to really work with them before, you know, one-on-one. They were on my first rotation with me and new to the team, really new.
yeah.
And I'm sitting there going doing my usual thing, just kind of talking, and I hear noises and voices. I'm like, hey, did you just hear that voice? And they're like, no, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, well, maybe I'm wanting to hear something, or I'm hearing something. I don't know. Whatever, let it go. A couple minutes later, did you guys hear that? No, didn't hear that. Okay, cool. Went to a different part of the house. Yeah, I saw shadows. Okay, they saw a little bit too. It was kind of hard to tell in that bedroom what it was and what it wasn't.
Well, that was our first investigation.
Right.
And we had that window that the tree was.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The shadow.
So
it was hard to tell.
Yeah.
But there was some weird stuff going on.
Yeah, we didn't know what exactly we were looking at.
With that being said, they go home listening to recorders and stuff like that. We had the same recorders in the room. I had mine actually behind me. Michelle was sitting in the chair, and I was facing her, and I had my recorder behind her on a mantle. She had hers in her hand.
Yeah, just a couple of feet aside.
But that being said, when she go back and listen, her and Paul, I go back and listen to that part. I said, "Did you just hear that voice?" It said, it made a noise or it said something. I mimic it, whatever. Their recorder catches it. So I go and listen. Like, oh, cool. I'll go back and listen to mine. Nothing.
Dang.
So why is hers catching? And mine doesn't. Right behind her is, and after that, they're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, because
it was there in the room.
It said, no, you didn't.
They brought it to me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I said, Michelle and them were kind of a non-believer at the time, maybe, and obviously it wasn't me making the noise because your recorder caught it. I'd have to
we were all three just within feet of each other. So
it's in a family room.
It's so interesting that with all the equipment that we use, that it almost never shows up on two pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
Like my first night here, I had my recorder and my camera. I mean, they were literally that far from each other, and I caught the voice on my camera first, and the second voice was caught on my recorder, but never on both.
It's true. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that's really frustrating is we hear it in real time. And it's like, hey guys, when someone's yelling at us, like yes, and then we have a camera going, have a recorder going, and next thing they come back, it's like, hey guys, it's like, what the heck, man? You yelled, and it was audible to, and then it's a whisper kind of a sound. Like, God, that's frustrating to me. I mean, it's like, I get so excited to go home and listen to that stuff, and it's not there. It's just like, dang it.
Yeah.
But it was there. I promise. We all heard it. We can all vouch for it.
I want to hear the one in Wilson that I caught on the second floor. I want to see if that comes out loud like we heard it.
Well, speaking of, I went back.
City?
Wilson.
On Wilson.
Talking about
No, you're right. It was Nest City.
Yeah, because I thought that's the one you were talking about.
Yeah.
That kind of hollered at you.
Yeah, it was like, hey.
Because you were calling, just trying to get you. Well, yeah, calling it out, but trying to get something to happen. But yeah.
I mean, she yelled at me. Whoever it was, she yelled at me.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, that night, and we'll go back to Wilson, the whole second floor phenomenon with the noise, I'm listening to my camera, and you can barely hear it on my camera, and it's below
That's
me.
Crazy.
And I don't know about the cameras on the floor, but the handheld I had on me, or my GoPro, it sounds like you can hear, I can barely hear it, but in real time, it shook the floor, and I'm like, what the? I looked down.
I literally thought someone was falling down the stairs.
Yeah. It was the craziest thing I've ever heard, and I don't know, hopefully the second floor camera caught it, but the camera I had up the floor above did not.
Was that coming from the main staircase, the one that's like...
The second stairway. Remember the video I showed you with the black, kind of, where the camera kind of does a weird thing, it gets brighter and goes in and out, fades in and out?
Right. So it's coming from, but the stomping was coming from the main...
It sounded like the main staircase.
The main staircase, right?
I couldn't tell, because I knew it was below
that's where
us.
that camera...
You had the camera, and then you had Cody, me, and Aaron sitting at the table, and we were just talking.
Okay.
And it literally sounded like boom, 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 boom. And I was like, okay.
Because you can hear anything on that staircase, too.
Yeah. It was loud, that's all I know, and I was baffled, because it distracted what I was trying to say at the time. I'm like, what was going on is in the Wilson Hotel, I think we talked about it right after the fact. Yeah. I was up on the third floor in the infamous sheriff's room, and I was asking some pretty heated questions with him.
He got mad at you.
He got mad because this is another thing he hasn't heard yet. I'll have to play for you guys when we get a chance to do all the evidence review and sit down. He told me on 3 different times the F off, but the actual word. You can hear it.
Okay.
And then the last time I'm like, you're not allowed to follow this girl, home and stuff. And I hear on the recorder, he left, or the ghost box at the time, he left. I'm like, who left? Mark left? And then that's when, a split second later, that you hit, it's all in succession.
It sounds like he threw a temper tantrum and stomped
Yeah,
away.
it was boom, 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 boom. And we're like, what the heck, I couldn't hear it. And like I said, my camera I had on me didn't catch it both times. I haven't listened to my record all the way at that part yet, so maybe it's on there louder. Plus, we need to do the second floor review to see if we caught anything. But it's just frustrating, things like that, you know.
Right.
But any other question you want to ask about the last week? That was a good question. Anybody else have anything? Any follow up to last week's curses or anything like that? Or
Well, what do you guys believe?
I don't know. What do you think, James?
You know, to be honest, I'm probably with you on that. It's believing. I've never been around anything like that, so therefore I honestly, you know, when it comes to like what you're always saying with, you know, I don't know, so you know, I've never seen it, so I can't tell you. So you know, that makes a lot of sense with it. I've never been in around anybody who's had a curse put upon them or whatever, but is it just your mind? You know, believing in it so much that it, which is something that I kind of want to talk about tonight when we get further into it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you
But yeah, go ahead.
But no, I may be what you're saying,
Okay.
so I'll wait. I think I know what you're going to say, so I won't ask that yet.
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know.
As far as curses go, I mean, I haven't been directly close to anything like that, per se. I mean, I have my own personal belief that I feel like I'm cursed some days because of, like today, everything's going wrong, it seems like. But I mean, it's logical explanations. I think it happens, you know. I mean, life
It's
happens.
life.
Yeah, it happens. But then you wonder about families like the Kirk Kennedys, who's had so much tragedy in their life. I mean, 2 assassinations of brothers, you know, within you know, a matter of time, you know, and that, you know, lead to some of the greatest conspiracy theories out there that we'll talk about later on in different podcasts. And just, I don't know, just all the tragedy that...
The families, the sons, the nephews, everybody. It's just, you know, something bad is just constantly haunting them.
But then on like Michelle, though, it's just life. It happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bad, stupid luck, unfortunately. It happens. But then you got other things like, what about... I don't know about the Superman curse, how I feel about that.
The Superman curse, I don't know if it was anything. I think a lot of that is Hollywood
Like
story time.
hoopla kind of thing.
But it
makes
is
sense.
sad.
It makes sense
sad.
because if you play a certain role and you try to break away from it, I mean, you're always categorized. Yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
he's gonna forever be Harry Potter.
Well, that, and you got people like Will Ferrell. You know, he always plays a goofy comedian, kind of a character, or whatever. And then they try to. Well, Jim Carrey did it. Adam Sandler tried it. Go to a more serious role. It's like people expecting the funny, goofy guy, and then you can't break away from that type of.
Jim Carrey's probably the only one who's really, him and Robin Williams probably
Right.
have really broken that.
Yeah.
Adam
But you
Sandler,
still want
He
them
tried.
to-
He did a couple of shows that
There were a couple
they
of
weren't
them that were
bad.
actually really good. Like
Click
The
was
Cobbler.
good. Click
That
was
a
good.
one.
What was
Yeah.
it?
The Cobbler.
I've seen that one.
Oh, I
It's
haven't
good.
seen that. It's on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, Click was a good one where he
Yeah.
kind of took a more serious role. Punch Drunk Love, I didn't watch that one.
Spanglish.
Spanglish, he did that. That was kind of a dramatic role. That was.
I just love Adam Sandler.
Grown Ups?
Yeah.
No, that was more. That
Not
was so
quite.
goofy.
That
It
was
wasn't
awesome.
even goofy.
Not quite though.
Good try though, Adam.
That's right. So with that being said, curses and everything like that, we're going to kind of go into the same kind of talk, but a little bit more darker, more a different take on things. We're going to talk about a multitude of things, such as black magic, witchcraft, voodoo, hoodoo, anything we want to talk about, really, anything dark, demonic, or not demonic, what do we call it? Satanic worshiping kind of a thing,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Just some bad.
just bad juju all the way around.
All the way
So,
around.
yeah, we've been pretty fortunate in most cases. I don't know if that's fortunate or if that's just our luck. We haven't really came across too many of the dark that we know of. Now, we've seen some unusual dark things, of course. I mean, every time we go out there, it's, well, the granola house, it came to be something more in the dark than we thought it was, other than just your typical, hey, my grandpa's here bugging me, can you get him out of my house kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It turned out to be a poltergeist, we think, and it was real dark. And the other house with the possible either, we don't know what that is still, elemental, or if it's,
You're talking about the one you get reminded.
no, the one that you want to go to, we haven't gone back yet.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So, that one tells us it's a maybe or not. Maybe it's a demon, maybe it's not. Talking about that,
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I know that phrase pretty good.
yeah. So that one we still don't know, but it was dark. It felt dark the whole time we were down there. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't scary at the time until later on. It's self-realization, like, what the hell am I staring at? What am I looking at? What am I dealing with? Then I had to really take a step back and say, wait, hang on a second. I was getting ready to challenge this thing head on, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because who knows what had happened at that point. I was that close to just going, hey, basically get your ass out here.
Right.
Calling it out directly, want to fight, not fight you, but want you to come out and show you your true colors, and then we never got to that far into it. It just like it clicked to me like, hey, this is something else. So I even posed a question, and it's on our Facebook Live page. You go to Everyday Legacy Paranormal. I don't know if you tagged her or not. If I tagged you in, I can't remember what you're up at the time.
I can't remember.
It was hard to say. We do both of them all the time. We tag each other in each video, so because we're the same company basically, different things. But anyways, we're doing this. It's not a ghost box session. It's a wonder portal, what it's called, the portal. And we're asking questions, and it's giving us pretty clear answers, growling at us in the room and talking to us. And I posed the question, are you a demon? And this thing comes through. We're watching this. It's stationary. It's Jeremiah's phone, and all of a sudden the thing flips, like the screen flips sideways, and then it types on there physically. Maybe not. We're like, whoa, wait a minute, what's that? Because it wasn't supposed to happen. And wasn't supposed to happen, We're like freaked out. We're like, wait, what's happening? And it did it again a few minutes later, but the second time I can't remember what it said.
I think you want to just bring up the portal.
Yeah, you can do that.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on that video the second time.
It's on the full thing. So the whole video played. It doesn't really do much, but I go back and listen to some of what's going on, and it's pretty intense. The line of questioning, what it's saying to us, and things like that. So this is the portal. It's made by a guy named Steve Huff.
I can even get closer to
Yeah, Jason's leaving the room now. He's coming close to the camera to show you what the portal looks like.
Which one do I have?
You can be in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, cut Michelle off.
Yes.
Is that good?
You get closer. In closer.
In
No,
closer.
3D.
So that's it.
But
It's on the Android phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, iPhone doesn't like it.
So, and all it is well, you explain it more.
What it is, it's made by a guy named Steve Huff and a couple of his people he works with. Now, Steve Huff runs Huff Paranormal out of Arizona. Guy made all kinds of stuff you see on TV. He made a bunch of like the big Wonder Box portals. They carry, looks like a big TV they carry around, like when you see it on Paranormal Lockdown. You see it on pretty much those shows like that with Nick Groff and them. And he's created a bunch of just different versions of devices that spirits can communicate with. Well, up to about a week ago, he's left the paranormal field.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I follow him pretty good. I've talked to him a couple times through Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that.
I didn't know that.
He realized that when he created his stuff he's been creating, it was too real that it's opening up stuff that he's coming in contact with darker demons. He's releasing demons he feels out into the world because he's making contact with them, calling them out, and
Jason looks down at his phone.
Well,
Delete.
I mean,
No.
no. It's almost just like playing with a Ouija board.
right? Yeah.
It's just electronic.
You're inviting. Hey,
Yeah,
are you
because
here?
you're
Talk
talking.
to this.
Because this is what it does.
through.
You turn it on, and
Yeah.
it's saying words backwards.
Yeah, playing words backwards, and then if you hear something forward, that's something coming
Exactly.
through. And we've had it. Good luck with that,
And I
on
can.
occasion.
You want
Yeah.
to play it?
Yeah. It stopped.
Yeah, then it
That's why. Keep talking. Come on. It's like
See.
medicine. Did he just cough too? It's like said medicine.
But see, it's
Let's communicate. It's like a version of a voice box,
Yeah.
spirit box, but it's really not because it's playing things a little different.
You the ones messing with my cameras?
But you listen to this
Kids
in
are
the
so
dark.
creepy.
You listen to this in the dark, and it sounds really, really creepy when you're in a
Yeah.
Nest City or somewhere like
Yeah.
that.
In a basement like we
Yeah.
were that night. But
But it sounds like foreign language.
Yeah.
and all
I
that.
Going
think
back
it's
to-
supposed to be German. I believe is what I read.
I don't know.
It sounds German.
Going back to Steve Huff, he has been attacked physically. Like they put him in the hospital. I mean, he thought he was near death. I mean, because something attached itself to him, and he's been away from the paranormal for about a week now, and he's feels like he's 100% mentally better, just in a better place than his wife. He doesn't feel like he's being attacked anymore. He deleted all his, well, he took all down every one of his Facebook pages, or Facebook to YouTube to everything you name it. He took it all down. It's back up now just for viewing pleasure, but he's like, he doesn't know how long he's going to keep it up. He's stepping away from paranormal, probably forever, possibly. I don't know, man. He's one of them. There was a lot of controversy behind him that people in the paranormal field, some people hated him, some people liked him. I don't have a problem with him. He's reached out to people as soon as they pass away, like Robin Williams. He's contacted Robin Williams. It sounds like Robin Williams.
I remember.
It's like his voice coming through.
Yeah, supposedly, like,
He's about to.
supposedly he contacted through the, was it the portal?
Yeah, there's a portal.
The portal,
The actual portal, not the app, but the
Robin
actual
Williams'
portal.
voice.
And it
came
comes through. Plain as day.
Yeah, what did he say?
He goes, basically, you know where you're at. He goes, I'm dead. Like he knew it. You can tell in his voice. And it sounds like, because he has that, kind of voice, you know. It sounds like exactly like him. I mean, it's kind of creepy. It's kind of cool if that's really him. He does it the moment he, like the day of, he found out he passed away. He went and did it in a session. And a couple different things. He asked, around, he's like, I'm waiting, whatever. Like waiting, I don't know what it means. He's trying to pass over. But he's done it with quite a few people, quite a few celebrities. He did it with Prince. He did it with, just name it, you name celebrities that passed away. And he has all the videos on his Facebook or his YouTube page. Well, what people were upset about was, I don't know if anybody knows from like Ghost Adventures, it was Mark and Debbie Constantino. They were the ones that were the EVP specialists. She had the kind of like the red brown hair with dark skin. He had kind of older gray beard looking. They were known as the EVP specialists throughout the paranormal field, and he ended up, it was domestic violence, and he ended up killing her and then killing himself, and they were well known throughout the paranormal field.
Oh, wow.
Well, he was contacting Debbie right away through there, trying to make contact with them, and people got ticked off. And he never posted the videos. It's that people caught wind that he was trying to do that, and people really wanted his head on the platter for it. And he's just like, you know what, it's not worth the politics and the drama. I'm not going to post it. It'll never see light of day. So some people have a love-hate relationship with Steve Huff. I admire the guy for his work. He's done quite a bit for the paranormal field as far as devices, and he's had some great success. I mean, like I said, the guy just seems like a pretty stand-up guy to me. Because if that's the case, if that everybody feels about what he's doing, it's like, well, what are we doing? Because we do the same thing. We're talking to people, somebody's loved one, at some point. It may not be instant. It may be down 100 years down the road or whatever.
I mean, that's what he does. I mean,
Yeah.
he makes the equipment for people to use. Why wouldn't he try to do something?
Yeah, but it came a little bit too real for him. He just started getting physically attacked. It started affecting his family at home. His wife was getting attacked, and it nearly killed him. So he just stepped away, and it's crazy.
Huh.
He wants to focus on more positive things. So for now, I mean, who knows? People said he's quit before, yes, but this one was a little bit too real for him, I guess. That he needs to step away. So with that being said, we're talking about curses, and we're going to talk about this week. I said the darker things with black magic and all that stuff. So, where do you guys want to start with? What topic? Any certain one, or anything you're familiar with, or
just
I'm
go
okay
for it.
With whatever.
I am also here to learn as much as you've got for me. I just have stuff I want to add to it.
That's fine.
Or question.
I will warn everybody at home. I mean, we're not going to get too crazy into it because I mean, it's a dark subject, but we will discuss it. I mean, we'll give you the backgrounds kind of behind it, some of our experiences with it, things we know about it. If you guys have any questions at home, feel free to jump in, like I said, and to ask us any questions you want. So, noise over there already. So, all right, right on cue. And so,
welcome to the show.
Yep. So everybody knows voodoo, pretty much. That when everything's dark, there's voodoo. A lot of people don't know the origins of it. We kind of touched base a little bit previous episode. I know we talked about it last week when Jeremiah was here.
Right.
But voodoo, as people may not know, it's actually a form of religion. It's brought on by the Haitians, whatever you want to call it. It's been more adopted into pretty much Louisiana. Everyone knows voodoo down in Louisiana because that's kind of where it's a lot of the Haitian community is settled, the Creoles and all that stuff down there. It's different. I mean, it's a little dark. It's not darker necessarily, but it can be darker as far as what it brings out. I don't know. What do you guys want to know about? What do you guys know about voodoo or anything?
Honestly,
what's your thoughts on it?
when I think of voodoo, all I think about is the dolls.
Yeah.
People doing weird things in the dirt or earth, or dancing around,
Right.
stuff like that.
Zombies.
Yeah,
Zombies.
that's what I always think about.
Yeah.
I never wanted to dive into it really.
Yeah. It's always intrigued me, just because it's dark. I like darker things, unfortunately. I'll admit it. It's just because it's curiosity, It's
Right.
like things we do not understand, kind of a thing. But I never really messed with it ever. I just know of it. I do a lot of reading on a lot of this stuff, and kind of for our field especially, because we never know when we're going to cross it head on one of these days.
Right.
And we thought we've crossed it a couple times, but it turned out it may not be. We still don't know yet. But as far as voodoo itself, their followers of voodoo believe, like I said, it's religion, believe in a god called, I think it's Bonje, how you say it, and I have a picture of him coming up. Actually, ready. The one he looks like the Catholics, Christians, the version of Jesus Christ in a way.
Yes, it does.
And he's coming up. They call him Bonje or Papa Bonje, and he happens to be it's coming soon. Sorry, there it is. He's considered an almighty and distant god, it says. However, Bonje does not directly involve himself in the lives of humans. So people that worship him indirectly, they worship the spirits that serve Bonje, kind of like his minions in a way. They worship him and kind of do their things. And there's quite a few people that do his work on behalf of Bonje. Like I said, it's religion. Think of it like Jesus and his apostles or something like that.
Right.
The apostles do everything for him, but Jesus is the supreme being, whatever you call it. His father was, whoever.
Because I read that voodoo is the blending elements of Roman Catholic faith with tribal religious beliefs.
Yeah. It's pretty widely accepted. I can't talk. Widely accepted by the Vatican. It's acknowledged as a religion.
Really?
Yeah. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, everybody thinks dark when it comes to voodoo. But the reason why they get the darkness behind it is because in order to appease the spirits that serve Bonje, you have to sometimes do offerings to him. That's why you see a lot of people create altars to these things, to these I don't know what to call them, deities, I guess I'll call them. They have devoted altars to them. They do ceremonies on behalf of them. If you ever see on TV, they do a lot of like celebrating down, Mardi Gras and stuff like that down. I know it's Fat Tuesday is kind of more of a religious thing once again, but a lot of people celebrate down there with the carnivals and stuff like that.
Right.
It's more of a ceremonial kind of a thing to them, and there's also spirit possession also too, which that's when it gets a little darker.
Do we know when voodoo started?
Voodoo? I'm sure I can find out. I think I had it here somewhere. I apologize. Because it was brought to the U.S. by when the Haitians migrated to Louisiana during the Haiti Revolution, which I don't have the exact date on that. Sorry, but I can pull it up real fast. Or Max, I think, is looking it up right now. Honestly, too, aren't you? Is that what you're doing? Max behind the scenes looking it up. It's an ancient practice. I know that. It's been quite a while. Go ahead. Step on in when you're ready, Max.
17th century.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been around for quite a while.
But Christianity was first, and
Then other religions. Yeah.
so they kind of combined.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if it really directly is derived from Christianity or if it's just associated with Christianity in a way where it's tied in somehow. Kind of like all religions have a center point mostly.
They take a little bit of it and mix their own stuff.
I mean, you got people break away from the church and do their own religion,
Yeah.
So that's how
Yeah,
Christianity, Catholicism to Mormons to you name it,
Yeah.
they've all broke away.
That's kind of what it says.
Yeah.
Well, there's also two different types of actual voodoo.
Yeah. Go ahead, Max.
Which is, it says here that the voodoo is religion and has two markedly different branches. You have the Haitian voodoo, and then you have Louisiana, I guess.
Louisiana. Sorry.
Down.
Yeah, I can't say the word either. You're fine. Everybody say Boudier, so Mondier, whatever the name is.
What they are considered religions, and what I've always believed, even before this or the research that I was trying to do for one of the cases that we have, is that there's a difference between voodoo and hoodoo.
Yeah.
Voodoo was primarily good,
Yeah.
when it comes to religion, and hoodoo was dealing more with the magic and black magic
Yeah.
and unnatural forces.
Because hoodoo is really considered not a religion.
No, it's a form of folk magic
Yeah,
that
it's like
originated
folk,
in
yeah.
West Africa, actually.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Okay.
So hoodoo is more of the just diving into the darker, goes
Yes.
straight to the throat with.
like,
Yeah.
killing chickens and using
Right.
the bones and
With especially with Louisiana voodoo, it says it places an emphasis on, I can't say the word, I think it's called gris or something like that. It's called, and what it is.
oh, gris.
Yeah, gris is that little bag looking thing. It has to be
Yeah.
on a black string, and it's like a little pouch. And we have a picture of that too. It's like a necklace kind of worn. Coming up here, this is the gris coming up. Max is currently doing that. So that's gris, and it's kind of a ceremonial pouch. They put magic and powder in there and stuff and different things to sprinkle like salt, whatever, their offerings, or they're casting a spell even, they can do that.
Well, there's also that is actually found in multiple different magic workings.
Sure.
The pagans also have something like that.
Yeah.
And one of the exact reasons for that is actually to curse someone.
Yeah.
To have it somewhere in their possession where they don't know where it is,
Right.
enables you into their home without actually having to be in their home to
Yeah.
do all these things.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it could have any number of ingredients in it.
Yep. Sorry.
You want to take a seat?
Roth just popped in. So, hey, Roth.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Also, too, in order for the voodoo to be practiced, there has to be like a central leader, since obviously the god is, Bonjay is not around, and he can't be that guy. They usually have, they're like maidens, it's usually called the voodoo queens.
Yeah.
One of the most famous ones, if you know any kind of thing about Louisiana voodoo and all that stuff, is,
Oh, what is her name?
come on, quiz time. Where's Alex Trebek? Doon, 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 doon.
Say his name backward, he explodes. I can't
I have a
remember
picture
her
of her
name.
in there,
Like,
too.
it was actually
She's
on.
right there.
Yeah, it was actually on American
Yeah,
Horror Story
yeah.
too, which
They
was
made her
really
darker.
cool. Yeah.
Yep, she's
Who's
right
that?
there.
Right there?
Yeah, Madame Marie Laveau. I can't say her name. It's
Wow.
coming. He's making a picture of
So,
her. She's the
what was
voodoo.
her story?
She's the voodoo queen of New Orleans. Nolens. To be exact.
Balance.
You can put her just ahead. You don't have to do the whole shebang if you want to. That's her. She's the. When you think voodoo in New Orleans, if you go down there, you ask, everybody's, oh yeah, Madame Marie Laveau. I mean, they know her.
Well, she looks nice.
In that picture, yeah, that's a younger picture of her. Most of the time you see her, she has like a headdress on, like the typical voodoo queen you see.
Yeah, she looks nice. She looks like she has RBF real bad.
So she's the one that you would go to. Hey, Madame Laveau, I have this nasty cough. I need to get rid of it. I've tried everything. I can't do this. I'm going to offer, I need your help. And you would give her an offering at the time, and she would grant you that wish, and supposedly, it would come true. And this is like the 1800s, basically, is when she was around.
Is it 18? Yeah.
I think she passed away in 1871 or something like that. I think
Wow.
Supposedly.
Well, that's just it. Her grave is in the infamous St. Louis Cemetery, the one you see on movies where the big
Down in New Orleans.
headstones. Yeah, St.
Yeah.
Louis
Looks creepy.
number one. Her supposedly mausoleum's there with a bunch of other people in this one particular one. You look at I should have put the picture on it. I don't know if I gave it to you or not, but if not, I'll get to you real fast. Basically, it's one of the famous ones because you'll see it. There's offerings everywhere. There's money thrown down. There's cards. There's drinks. The theory is you're supposed to go in and say, I want to give Madame Laveau, I want a wish granted. You go in there, make an offering, make an X on her mausoleum, go do your thing, come back, and in order to come true, you have to draw a circle around it. That symbolizes something. I don't know what it does.
Really?
And supposedly people have had their wishes granted. I can give you that real quick while we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that so far? I'll get more into her in just a second. this one deep. Once again, it's religious beliefs. So
Yeah.
it's kind of what you believe in, like you talked about earlier, Michelle.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the people who go and light candles and say their prayer and walk away.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as
Yeah,
like
it's- in essence,
putting an X on a mausoleum
Why not?
and
Yeah.
offering? I don't know.
It's
what you
That's
Even on that same story, there's people that are like, oh, there's some lady granting wishes in the cemetery, let me go.
yeah.
And whatever supposedly comes back with them isn't what they wanted.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, you never know what you get until you have the opportunity to really.
All the tourists going in there being like, oh, I heard this story, let me try it. They're not a real believer. They're just there trying to get $10 or whatever it is they're asking for.
Should have done that lottery the other day, man. I'm just kidding. No jokes. Don't curse me. I'm just kidding.
Every thing shuts down right now.
Yeah, you know, can't go without being bad. So, with that being said, like I said, she was the one that people would still believe that to this day. That you go kind of back in her time, you go and did an offering to her, she would grant you the wish, and the next thing you know, it would come true. She's one of the infamous voodoo queens out there. There's still some to this
Because
day.
you can take the tour out there, right? I mean,
That's just it. St. Louis, #1 cemetery in New Orleans, to be precise. You can't. You used to be able to just walk up in there and go look around, enter at your own risk, kind of thing. It's not in the best part of town. It's not in the worst part of town. I mean, anything off the French Quarter, even the French Quarter is bad actually, but anything a block off the French Quarter is really bad, and that's pretty close to where it's at.
have you been there?
No.
No.
I'd like to go,
Yeah.
but I know Jeremiah. That's how road trip kind of got started. They took a
Yeah.
trip down to there to go investigate haunted places, and that was one of them. But used to go in there, and you should go to walk around, look at the cemetery, you know, and try to find a grave. There's some crazy looking graves down there. Well, too many people were doing bad things down there, vandalizing, trying to break in and do to her grave, and I don't know, whatever else. Unfortunately, you know, one person or 10 people ruin it for everybody else. So now you have to pay a ridiculous amount to go in there, and you can't get in. There's no way to get in otherwise. You can't get in at all.
What's a ridiculous amount?
I don't remember what it is. It's like it's kind of like a sham in a way. I think they just whatever the guy at the gate wants to charge it. I want to say it's supposed to be a set amount, like anywhere from $20 to $35, which for nostalgia's sake, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'd probably pay it if I was down there. I made all that trip all the way down there to see something like that. I probably would end up paying it. But
And there could be upkeep on the cemetery.
yeah, and the people that actually enforce this rule is the archdiocese down there, the church. They're the ones that said no come here and disgrace this because this is history and it's also religious, you know.
So, do they keep every mark or X that is on her?
Well, it's funny you
or
said
do
that.
they clean it?
Somebody went in there in 2003. I don't remember the date, like December or something. Anyways, in 2013, excuse me. I think it was 2003, 2013. I can't remember the exact date. Sorry, regardless. Someone in there and painted pink over everything. Which whoever the brave soul that did that was crazy because if you really believe in this whole folklore about
Right.
her, she could curse you, you know, if you're just desecrating her mausoleum or whatever, you know. Did you get my email, Max? Sorry, I forgot to send it. This is her mausoleum coming up. We're gonna get this added to it, the pictures in a minute. But anyways,
They painted it all.
they painted it pink. Every mark on there, all the history behind it was almost destroyed. It still kind of was because then they cleaned it up. Instead of putting paint thinner on it, they power washed it, and it
Wow.
ruined. The city did this, and the diocese was kind of pissed about it. You know, people were pissed about it because it's like you're ruining this, you know, artifact kind of a thing, and it's a disgrace. Number one, that it even happened, but I mean, I don't know how I feel about the whole thing, but it's, as far as her
Well, I
in general,
wouldn't have done that.
but I wouldn't have wanted, you know, test fate once again, and
Wow, look at that.
so this is
Sorry,
her.
y'all will see in a second.
Yeah, this is her actual mausoleum. But there's reports that she may not even be buried in this one, supposedly. There's just some disputes about her not being there, supposedly. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say she is or isn't there. But
And you
nonetheless,
can't get inside to see, so
yeah.
it's like
But you can see the red X on the side of the building. That's what people were asking for offerings. I don't see any circles around it, but that's the room you're supposed to
There's
circle.
one that has a heart around it.
Yeah. And there's a plaque on the side that says she's, you know, reported to be buried here. So, more or less, yeah.
so she's the queen of voodoo.
Yep. Everybody knows her down there. You go down there, you mention her name. Oh, yeah. We'll show you. Her house is still standing or her childhood home. It's one of the famous ones down there on Daphne Street.
Wow.
I think it's Daphne's what it's called. It's pretty cool. It's one of those ones, those 2-story ones you see, kind of like the Occidental Hotel here.
Yeah.
Here, it looks just like that, where it's double layered.
Was she rich? Was she?
Her dad was like a, I can't remember if he was a peasant or something. I can't remember, his servant, whatever.
Okay.
But she just basically, I mean, whatever reason, people bought into what she was
So,
preaching.
you know much about her background, like how she got into it?
I believe it was a family thing,
Was
wasn't
this a
it?
family thing?
Well, it's
Passed
religious,
down?
yeah, so
Passed down?
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And she
but-
just took it on full force.
yeah, she's became like the go-to person, and like I said, she was one that you definitely didn't want to double cross because she could put the curse on you basically, and it is what it is. I mean, you're cursed for life. That's the picture there. We see the grass with the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with the headgear.
Yep. I get you real quick here. Sorry.
Well, no, I was just curious.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I mean, I just know of her. I think it's pretty cool who she is. But keep talking.
So what? Okay, so what's your take on the whole zombie thing?
Voodoo?
Yes.
Well, that's just it. There's more to that. If we
Okay.
go just to the pictures, if you go, I sent to Max, and in order to practice voodoo, like I said, you had the main guy, whatever,
Right.
the god. You had the Gris, the little bag we showed. You have a voodoo queen that has to be in charge of all that, and then you have different things like some paraphernalia, and then there's also a thing called the La Grande Zombie, which is the snake deity.
And I saw that.
Yeah. So you have to have a snake. That's why you see when you see all those. If you see any kind of horror movie or scary thing, they always have a snake around their neck and they're,
Yeah.
shaking it around, kind of doing things. This is the La Grande Zombie coming up, and this is the symbolism of voodoo. Along with you see all the different writing and stuff, language writing. So that's the La Grande Zombie, which is usually like a python-looking snake-ish. Oh, that was me. Sorry.
So when it's called La Grande Zombie,
Uh-huh.
is it just a symbol and there's no really thing of zombie itself? That's just
I
like
guess
its
when
name and it's.
I look at it, think about the cross. I guess with
Oh,
all
that's
sorts of,
true.
you have to have symbolisms and everything to do, especially if it's religion. There's that.
You have
it's
to have your
just-
symbols to make it
Yeah,
right.
there's different things like that. As I was reading through earlier, Max. I think I was trying to read that real fast when you asked me questions.
Oh.
But no, you're fine. Yeah, if you see anything on there you want to throw out there, go ahead. We can continue talking about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it's supposed to be for good health and things of that nature, voodoo. But you can definitely curse some people if you
Right.
feel the urge. That's why voodoo is the bad rap it does. So, what do you think, Michelle? Ready to sign up yet for it?
Well, now that I know more about it, it's not as scary as it was.
Just has a bad rap. I mean, it can do its thing.
Yeah, it's not that evil that I
Yeah.
thought it was.
Yeah, everything's dark, bad thing. And I mean, it's religion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a religion, and if somebody says I'm going to come up and make you a zombie, and you believe it, then you probably will become a zombie.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things. No, there's other. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was
You're
just
gonna say something?
no. There's just a lot of stories out there too about actual eyewitness accounts of
Yeah.
zombies.
See, I've
And
heard
see,
that.
now I see Roth over there already shaking his head. Now I'm skeptical too, because I think everybody who's prepping their basements and their hideouts underground for a zombie apocalypse, I think it's crazy. I think, okay, that's the best you're going to do with your money.
Right.
Okay, the best that's going to save you for is good times with a hurricane or a tornado catastrophe.
So is there a different
I don't know,
definition in their thoughts of a zombie versus like what we see on TV and
Probably. It's more probably.
It's
Conjured
based
spirit,
on
yeah,
the
basically.
religion of the zombie. Like
Good.
on a field trip to Hades in 1930, a French anthropologist whose name I can't
Come
say,
on.
his first name is Georges,
That's too easy.
had a opportunity, most unusual for a Caucasian, to observe 4 zombies. He went to basically a farm, and he was doing research, and the farmer called them out from the field, and he saw the 4 individuals out there in the field. What he noticed when they stood up to walk, they were out there picking cotton and everything, and they started to walk, was the unusual gait that they had. Like, they weren't walking like a normal person. They had a very wobbly gait to themselves. Their arms were very stuck to their sides, and their skin was just very sunken in. And when they lined up, they act like you weren't even there. They were just standing there. He said that their gaze was the most unusual thing. Is that he walked up to them and actually tried to lunge at their eyes with his fingers, and they just stared straight forward without a blink, without a flinch, without anything. And then when the farmer got them, he took them over to a little tiny shed. They walked into the shed. He closed it, locked it. That's when the farmer was very uneasy at that point, was like, okay, we're done here. You go. And that's just where he kept them. Was in. And there's other stories of people seeing, there's one of the voodoo, I guess, I wouldn't call it medicine doctor or whatever you call it, who was kind of angry at a guy in town who...
A priest?
It was a priest, yes, thank you.
Priest,
that's what I was wanting to say.
Yep.
I forgot where I saw that story, but anyway, the priest asked this guy for help, and he said, no, I'm not going to help you or anything like that. So later on, they're having dinner together, and he mentions an old friend that they both had, and he said, well, yeah, he passed away. He passed away some time ago.
Right.
And he goes, okay, well, how would you feel if you could see him right now? And he cracked his whip 6 times, and apparently an individual walked into the room backwards and then stood there. He said it was his friend, who had been dead for 6 years or so and looked about the same description. And it's all through this voodoo zombie. I mean, these are old stories, mind you. But I mean, is there anything to it? There's even, stories from people being buried alive, like even 70s and stuff like that pop up back alive. People have seen individuals in town that they've all gone to her funeral,
Right.
and then she pops back up alive.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And she's seen all over
It's freaky
town.
but cool, man.
I believe it.
I like it.
From the things that I've read, it's basically like possession of the dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Spirit possession.
Yeah,
Talk about
it's
a little bit, yeah.
something is being put into these bodies by some sort of, whether it be whatever religion that they're practicing
Mhm.
or whatever spell they're doing. I think that there's a possibility. I mean, I can't say, no, it's never going to happen, because it'd be just like the people who think UFOs don't exist or
Right,
Bigfoot doesn't
that's
exist
true.
or...
That's true.
Alright, I'd be broke and I'll just be, I hate that. Just get
No,
out.
but you're true. How can you say possession or all that is real, but not believe in the possibility of somebody
Just because
possessing
we
you?
don't experience it on
Yeah,
a
just because we
day-to-day.
haven't. And it's not normal around certain parts, I guess.
Yeah, and it may not be zombies that we think in some sense, brains kind of walking dead kind of guy. It might be more of, like you said, a possession.
It
Where,
could be a hypnotism.
yeah,
It could be,
yeah.
I mean, you could stick anybody in the grave for a couple of days and,
What if it's a
that
skin
would blow
condition?
your mind. I mean,
Yeah.
What if they have, like, was that thing, mage?
Mage.
That the dogs have?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mage.
mage. That's it, mage. What if they have mage?
I don't know. I mean, I've never had much experience with it, so I can't say whether it is true or not true. I know it's it can be a dark practice at times, or it can be, a healthy, like anything, we do, or not they do, should I say. So, y'all look puzzled, what's up? Like,
No, I don't know, for a lot of this, is it not possibly just your mind? You're scared enough to believe in something, or a hypnotism or something, that something happens to you?
Talking about to the viewer themselves versus the person experiencing it.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's what
Well,
I mean.
okay, because there's even, there's a story of it's called the Mother's Curse. Typical story, the son goes into business. Well, that's not a typical story. Not everybody goes into business with their mother. But it's a typical story of a son with a very domineering mother.
Norman Bates.
Yeah, Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaines. Yeah. Gaines? Gaines? Gaines?
Anyway.
He's dead anyway.
Or is he?
Dun, dun,
Maybe.
dun.
No, he is.
You guys know who he is, right?
Who?
Ed Gein.
Ed Gein,
Gein.
the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He's the one that
guy.
Texas.
Oh, okay.
He's the one that Psych was based upon loosely in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can't talk to that word.
And Buffalo Bill.
Yep.
From
Oh, yeah.
Silence
Yep.
of the Lambs.
Yep.
Really?
Right.
Yes.
Yep. Speaking of
Oh yes.
coincidental, Ted Hopper, the one that directed Poltergeist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2, just passed away
Yeah.
yesterday. So he was one of the. I know Steven Spielberg directed or wrote Poltergeist and all stuff,
Right.
but he's the one that actually directed it. And like I said, he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2. He did a bunch of other stuff too. But
It's crazy stuff.
He's having. We've been talking about that a lot lately, Poltergeist. And now we're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and here he just passed away yesterday. So, Hollywood lost one of the greats. One of the great directors. So, rest in peace. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
Back to your
you're
Texas
okay.
Chainsaw Massacre. Ed
Ah.
Gein.
So anyway, this is what year is this? This is in the 1960s. So a son goes in the business with his mother. Business does great. He gets a little tired of it and kind of wants to leave it. The mother threatens him.
Okay.
Threatens him with, if you leave, bad things will happen. A certain fate will, go upon you.
Mhm.
That was her threat. Well, he ignores it. He gets married. He moves out. He ends up selling the business. About 2 days after the threat that his mom once again said, if you do this, you leave this, something bad will happen. 2 days after that, he gets asthma. He's never had a problem in his life. He starts having asthma and a cardiac condition. Well, time goes on. He decides, whatever. He still sold the business, and he tells his mom, you know what? And this is a few days later when he says, he calls her up and says, opening up a new business, and I'm not doing it with you. My wife and I are doing it.
Okay.
So she, over the phone, tells him again, something bad will happen to you if you go through with this.
Right.
And he becomes sick, and within an hour of the fateful phone call with his mother, he has a heart attack and dies.
Wow.
Is it a true curse, or is it just the simple fear of the mother putting that into his head that it put that much of a strain on his body? That's the thing.
Good question.
Are these stories just the human brain just having that effect with people with threats?
Right.
People doing dolls and stabbing them with pins and stuff. Is it all mental, or is there some kind of dark magic to it?
It's very possible. I mean, it's
Just not to mention it again, but
Yeah. Right.
our favorite place down south
right.
in Oklahoma.
Yep.
But we can't say we haven't been around it, because we have been around it.
Loosely, right?
Loosely.
Yeah. Possible. Yeah.
But
well,
we know the fate of the person that was living there
Right.
to what we were seeing, and then
And it kind of goes back to what you're asking. We never really dealt with curses before, but
Right.
or the possibility we are. I mean,
yeah,
God about it
yeah,
with how things are turning out
yeah.
based upon our experiences down there and whatnot. But as far as the whole voodoo doll, how that works too is that you're supposed to take something of, whether it be a lock of hair from them, or I don't know,
Something
anything.
personal.
Yeah, something more personal, like clothing, and you're supposed to get this doll as close as you can to look like the individual you're trying to hex, and then you do whatever you want. You can put pins in certain places. If you want to break their arm, next thing you know, they have a broken arm supposedly, or a leg, or with the case in Oklahoma, a pin through the head. I think he has brain cancer now all of a sudden. And I don't know. I really don't know what to think about that. I never really experienced it on a one-on-one personal level, but I mean, other than seeing it from the outside looking in kind of view.
And then, would you say anybody could do it?
Yeah, I think so. Possibly.
So whatever is going to cause that black energy or what, anybody can, I mean, I always thought you had to, I mean,
It's like
Have that
somebody
training.
getting on Google
Yeah.
and going, how do I do a love spell?
Mm-hmm.
And they try it, and either it works or it doesn't work. I think there is some sort of magic behind it
Yeah.
that it just doesn't. Like if I made a voodoo doll of Leo, and I stabbed him in the arm, and he feels it, I don't find that to be a manifestation of one's own mind because he didn't know I made a voodoo of him
Right.
or stabbed
I
him in
just
the
got
arm.
this.
I think there's
I'm
a lot
seeing
more
all this
pieces.
black energy flying all over, and somebody says, "Hey, I want you to go," and then it's just, "Okay, I'm going to go do this for you." It's just like you've got all this bad energy running around. Just wait for somebody to call
ask.
it.
To
Well,
ask, yeah.
Can you, kind of on a related note, can you will something to happen? I mean, you feel
In
like
that
No.
case, I would have won the
Could they
lottery
do
a
that?
long time
I've
ago.
tried
say
it.
no.
I've
I've
tried
tried
it.
for years.
most of the time people will, I want to win the lottery. Of course, that you probably can never do. But what about the bad stuff? Do you really believe enough of it?
No, I don't think. I honestly don't think you can because I definitely tried it a time or two.
Oh my gosh, I just asked
You willed Jason
like, I
away and he
willed him
disappears.
to walk away.
No, I didn't.
See, and I don't know how I feel about that because I'm a little too close to some of that situation where I feel like as a kid
Thanks though.
I'd have visions of things and possibly, read stuff and some stupid stuff like a horoscope or somebody or type of something in the newspaper. But then some of that stuff started becoming true, but enough to where I quit reading it.
Once in a while, it comes true, and that's.
For a while it's pretty regular.
But is that something else, or is that?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is it something I will upon myself and not
Is it
not
kind
knowing?
of like a psychic or something where you having?
I hope not. I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
Well, you do have Leo ears, so maybe that's just a
Oh,
continuation. Hopefully.
I'll read my horoscope occasionally, and it fits every single thing that's happening at that moment in time.
Yeah, but a lot of those can be worded to be
Yeah, pretty
Interpretation.
open
Yeah.
and vague. Or
like today you're gonna wake up. No.
yeah, I was gonna say, is it something I can just read on black and white? Like, oh, I can relate to that. I can
Yeah.
relate to that. Yeah, I
Well, and a
mean,
lot of that, I think they build on the zodiac signs.
They do.
I mean,
They do.
They do.
That's why when people start asking questions on, and they're like your age, and then they ask your birth date or something, then they start calling you out. and you're
Yeah.
like, really?
yeah, if you're really sensitive.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I am really
Yeah.
sensitive.
So-
Duh, your horoscope said you would be, or whatever. Yeah.
It's kind of like the eclipse was supposed to make the whole world happy,
It made me happy. I didn't win the damn lottery.
Yeah.
Still having to work.
People were happy.
Happy or crazy. It was going to
Yeah.
go one way
I
or the
believe
Okay,
other.
so let's
crazy.
go. Let's
I've
go
seen
this
people go
route.
crazy.
One route.
Go
with
ahead.
it, okay, so
Who is that talking
it
about?
seems like most of the stuff that you guys are bringing up is from way back in the past.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay. Well,
What was
yes.
that?
That's me. Talking.
You said
Okay. Yeah, that was.
That's me.
okay.
I said,
So, like
yes
the
and no.
stuff you're reading, a lot of that stuff is in the
Yeah,
past.
yeah.
Okay. So
It's
I
some of
think
the origin of it.
back in those days, they don't. I mean, and I'm going really far fetched on this, but back in those days, I don't think you had as many evil people as you do
Frozen.
today.
Oh, I'm talking Max. Sorry. Go ahead.
As you do today.
You are.
So if it would be that simple,
Why are you frozen?
if it would be that simple to get a spell, do a voodoo doll, and because trust me, we all have a dark side to us, and tear somebody to pieces, why aren't there a lot more people doing that? Just like the little midget guy over there in North Korea. If it's that
Watch
simple,
it. Watch it now.
let's make a little voodoo
Great,
doll
he's gonna get us
and
nuked.
take care of it.
Maybe somebody has.
No,
Maybe-
obviously not.
Well, maybe that's why he
Just
hasn't
got
done
done
anything.
firing another missile. at
Yeah, but he's
Japan,
not
so-
really. He's just.
But I'm just saying, okay, if it's
Okay.
that simple and they used to do it a long time ago, why don't you hear more about it now? Is it more hidden than it was back then?
I don't know. I don't
If
know.
it's that simple to do, man, I've got some people I could break it on my leg to, like,
Okay,
really quick.
You know, that's a good point right there. A lot of people think that. But the thing is, if you do it wrong, it comes back on
That's
you.
what's scary,
It
yeah.
comes back on you, and that's probably what a lot of people. The same person will be like, "I'm not gonna do that because if I screw this up, or not knowing how to do it the correct way."
Right.
That is the thing. And if it's ever discovered that you did do that to somebody, or you put a mark on them or something,
Mhm.
then when it does get reversed, that it does bounce back to you.
Okay.
So that's one I think a lot of things you have to be careful with if you're trying to do something like that.
Like Ouija boards, ghost boxes, everything else. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, you could actually have something, you know,
Right.
it could go right back on you.
Yep.
Very easy.
Or in the same token, you can open up something. Hey, I'm trying to, like I said to somebody earlier today. Hey, I'm trying to speak to dear Aunt Sally, but then I'm talking to Aunt Sally, or possibly may or may not be talking to her, so I'm just pretending to be her. But yet, I'm opening up by saying I need to talk to you. Come through the Ouija board. Something else is coming in through along with it. No, I'm not talking to this person, but yet they're still coming. You know.
Jeremiah says the intention of the working is what sets the difference, not the energy.
The what?
USA.
Yeah.
The intention of the energy.
Yeah.
Basically the thing behind it, your intention behind it. If you're gonna be like, I really want this to, I want to curse Roa today, and he's gonna go out and get in an accident. I'm not doing that, by the way. I'm just saying.
Knock on some wood.
Right.
Yeah, I know I shouldn't have said that. I feel terrible about doing that.
There you go. I got it.
Is that wood? Is that balsa wood? But anyways, if you do that well enough and then you go and do it, it's like, holy shit, it really happened, It's just that's why I said, can you really will something to it? Like I was telling Michelle earlier, with horoscopes and all that stuff and different things, is it possible to will it onto somebody, towards somebody?
With my horoscope, I'd be too sensitive, so
I knew you were
I don't
sensitive.
think I could do it.
Well, let's go on the next route. We're kind of, I know I'm
All
not
right.
trying to flip it real fast, but we don't
No,
have
that's
time.
all right.
This took longer than I thought it was. The opposite is kind of, not opposite, a similar thing as hoodoo, which a lot of people don't really know much about hoodoo. I didn't really know much about it until I started reading a lot more recently in weeks, trying to help with the case.
Right.
So much.
Yeah, definitely. So hoodoo is more of an African traditional folk magic, they say. It's come from different type of cultures and many traditions. It's also associated with the conjuring of things, witchcraft or root work. But then the rituals themselves all depend on the person doing it. So it's a little darker, it can be, but it also can be the same thing. I want it to be,
I believe in
more
voodoo,
healthy.
What they believe is it's not what you look at witchcraft for
Yeah, it's
for modern times.
Think of Wiccan. Wiccans are not. They're witches, but they're also more herbal. They want to use
There's
health.
a white magic
Yeah.
or a black magic.
Right.
In hoodoo, I don't believe there is a difference
No.
between those. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is intended for what you're doing,
Right.
and that's it. There's no light or dark side. So I could be wanting my crops to grow, but I'm going to go kill these 3 goats in order
Yeah.
for it to happen.
Yeah.
So
Right. I mean, it's more positive thoughts, but can it be dark and put a spell on somebody? Of course. It's like anything, any religion, any kind of, like we just talked about, kind of wish it upon somebody to get hurt. Of course, I think you really can at times, possibly, if you do it right. Now, with hoodoo, they use things like, it's called a grimoire. I can't say the word.
grimoire.
Yeah, I can't say that word. I'm not into that. And
I
it
did
is-
not know that they use grimoires. Grimoires are usually used in witchcraft
Yeah,
nowadays.
but they said they use it. It's a different type.
Interesting.
Yep, and he's putting one up. Basically, it's a book, like a
It's a spell book.
spell book. Yeah,
That's basically
call
what it is.
Yeah, they call it what it is. Yeah.
Can you get that at the library?
Yes.
You know what? You joke about it. You can get it on the internet, actually.
Interesting, really.
Yeah.
All
I
it
kid
is
you
is
not.
a notebook, guys.
I kid you not. It's basically kind of your own personal thing, too, where you can put all your spells that you were trying to.
Yeah,
To
it's,
do
it's a lineage of family
Yeah,
history
passed
within your
on.
spells.
So that's one, what it looks like. It's widely used in more of a hoodoo kind of thing, but also, like you said, it's a spell book, so it can be used in, like, it crosses over to witchcraft and other things. I mean, if you think about it.
So it's passed down. It has every
Yep.
Yep.
detail of spell or
Yep.
curse or anything.
It's a family's legacy, basically.
Right.
Like you'd pass down heirlooms to your children.
It's the Winchester book
yeah,
from
what's not
Supernatural.
that?
Yep.
Or the Charmed book. Book of Shadows,
I
was it?
didn't watch that.
Come on now, yes.
Charmed, like the TV series.
Yeah.
Oh, I
they
know
have a
something. I
Book of
watched it.
Shadows.
I watched it for
That's
the girls.
recent. Yeah.
I didn't care about them. What are they doing? Oh, what? They're doing something? I'm watching.
The Power of Three.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
But
thought
you
didn't
never
watch
watched it.
No, I'm just saying. Whatever.
No, I actually did, but I know what it's about.
Listen, they were hot though. Can we just?
It was a
But
pretty
it had
good show.
Shannon Doherty. It had Alyssa Milano.
Also had Rose McGowan.
Yes.
Later on,
Yeah.
and who's that one girl?
I know. I'm drawing a blank on her.
Yeah, I forget
She
what her
played.
name.
Which one did she play?
I don't know the name of that. Oh,
They were all with P names, right? The Prue,
Piper.
Piper one, Holly Marie Combs.
There you go. Get you pulling things out. Fanboy.
Yeah, I fanboy out a lot. It's fine.
But I mean, hoodoo, it does have more darker roots compared to voodoo. But I mean, like I said, it's also something you can just do where you can wish it upon people, or you can just put spells on people, and kind of that thing.
Right.
So I'm not too familiar with hoodoo, other than I know of it. Voodoo I know more about just because I've kind of been fascinated by it a little bit at times, just to try to figure out what it is. And it's probably never really stumbled across this, but of course, the time I was studying, there wasn't really the internet the way it was today, and things of that nature. I mean, now you can go and find anything. Like I said, my group was asking about a little library and get this book. Well, you can get the spells for it on the internet. I mean, I was just Googling tonight. It's like, here, download this PDF of spells and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no.
No, thank you.
I also found, I shouldn't say it.
You brought up a while ago just talking
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
the Book of the Dead.
Yes.
The Book of the Dead could also be considered a grimoire.
Yeah. It's based upon that. I mean, it can get dark. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's, I don't want to talk about that too much just because in the case we dealt with, it's more personal, but it's alright. So, any more thoughts on hoodoo or anything, or anything you want to know, or concerns, or? Like I
No,
said,
it's fascinating, but at the same time, I don't think I know enough about it to. If we were to ever come across anything like that, I wouldn't know what to do at the exact moment.
Yeah. Nice. The only difference is voodoo is religion. It's an actual religion. Voodoo is not. It's practicing magic spells.
Right.
That's a little different. That's the folklore behind it. That's the main difference between the two, really. And also the origins of it. It's from West Africa, like I think Max said earlier. So that crossing over, I mean, next thing kind of closely related to it is actual witchcraft. I mean, there's different levels of witchcraft. I mean, there's things that people think of as the dark thing, you know. There's also things that are lighter, you know. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like we said, we talk about Wiccans and people like that. They're witches. They are trying to, you know, promote good health, like earth kind of thing. You kind of like I eat a plant and I plant another plant kind of a thing, or, you know, I use this plant to this herb to make myself, you know, get rid of my headaches kind of a thing, and just different things. So I mean, not all witchcraft is bad necessarily.
It definitely had its bad rap over the ages.
Right.
Well, that's also the ages where hexes came in, where you stole my cow and now I'm going to curse your whole family.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I
got
mean,
the Salem witch hunt, which is probably
yeah.
most likely just a false accusations and innocent people being killed,
Yeah.
burned at the stake, and all that. It was the girls that were on trial pointing at people just because. What was it? They had a bad reaction with some bad grains in the bread or something like that made them hallucinate.
Mhm.
And instead of the town looking at them badly, they start pointing fingers at other people and saying they're witches, and that's why they. So was there actual witches there in Salem?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Well, and
Not every single
not-
one that they killed, definitely
No.
not.
Not initially, I'd say.
Yeah.
Actual witches there. The thing is, I mean, the whole thing of it, how it came about was in like biblical times, kind of a thing. It was more witchcraft was done, performed to do things that we talked about, you know, to wish for good things, kind of a thing, whatever. But some people viewed it as it being evil. If you practice witchcraft, you're doing the devil's work. It's associated with the devil, supposedly. So that's how the Salem witch hunt trials came about, because they're all, coming over from the old world into the new world, and all the pilgrims or Protestants, where they were, had strong beliefs about religion, and here they got these people they accused of being practice this evil magic. That's why they got put on trial, whether they were witches or not. Now, at the time, when I say there was initially wasn't probably witches, is after the fact that people were starting to do that, they were starting to put curses on people because, hey, a witch, well, I'm going to curse you for even thinking that kind of a thing. And there's a possibility there was actual witches there, but not like
Well, there's also
the sense that people think.
even people nowadays don't realize that there's a difference between Wiccan, pagan, and being an actual Satanist.
Yeah.
Like, those
Right.
are three totally different things that are supposedly all around witchcraft.
Yeah.
And it's
We talk about it all the time behind the scenes sometimes. I say all the time behind the scenes. Oh, where's this at? Phone call?
Yep, it's a caller.
Is it a real caller?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh. You're on the Cryptic Heartland podcast. What is your name, sir?
I don't know if I want to give it or not. This is Jeremiah.
I know who you are. Got our first caller. Jeremiah couldn't attend the show tonight, so he's calling in. So what are your thoughts, sir? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I don't know. I just thought I'd call in, and since I wasn't able to be there tonight, I thought I'd call in, and if you guys wanted to throw some questions at me, I'd do whatever I can to answer them.
Yeah, this was the show I was hoping you'd be in for, because I know you have a lot of background knowledge of this kind of a thing, and we've had our discussions behind the scenes, you and I directly, talking about different types of magic, the white, the black, the different colors, brown, red, you name it.
Right.
So, anybody have any questions for Mr. Norwood about anything, whether it be what we talked about initially, or voodoo, or even black magic, or even witchcraft?
Okay, are we talking, what is magic? What is the magic?
Sorry.
Partials.
Yeah, what would be the definition of magic that you would use in witchcraft?
If I'm defining magic, I'm going to define magic as the intentional manipulation of energy to affect a desired outcome. Now, that intention, I made the comment on the chat thread earlier, that intention is what sets it apart as being what people call light or dark. But that, the energy is all the same. The energy doesn't care where it goes or what it does. It's all just neutral.
You see, this is what I do not understand, where you're calling upon this energy to do a certain thing, but yet there's no intelligence there.
The intelligence comes from your intentions.
But
That's the
But
thing.
to-
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. In certain aspects, there's no intelligence necessarily to the energy, but that's where your intention comes in. You, the person working the magic, is the intelligence behind the direction of that energy.
okay, so you're calling that energy to you to do what you want it to.
Your intent, what you're intending to do, whether it be
Okay.
to put a spell on somebody, whether it to be whatever. Like I said, and you may not have the smarts to do it,
Yeah.
but
It's almost like
some people do have that
you
though.
feel the good vibes, like when somebody's vibing, you can feel it off of them. If they've
Yeah.
got a lot of anger and you can feel it, maybe that's the bad vibes.
Yeah, I mean,
So depending on how you're working it at that time, that's the energy it's going to pick up off you. Is that what you're saying, Jeremiah?
I couldn't hardly hear you, Rose. Repeat that.
Okay. No, you're good.
Just turn your TV up now. You can hear it on the podcast.
How'd you say it again? Say it one more time.
It's
Come on.
basically, to sum it up really quick, it's like the vibe that you've got going on. When somebody walks in a room, you can tell their aura, their vibe, their energy. So maybe depending on when you're working that type of magic, it's going to feed off the negativity. Like you said, it's going to go off however you want to use it.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because everything, and we're not just talking about energy from people or spirits or whatever. Everything that you see around you has an energy field around it. without at the risk of sounding too spacey, I mean, the universe has ambient energy.
Right.
And that's what magic uses, that ambient energy. It directs it to acquire or to accomplish whatever outcome you set out intending to accomplish.
Yeah. I mean, in that sense, yep. And you, like Rose was kind of talking about, you mentioned like when you're having a good old day and somebody comes in, really negative and is pissed and moaning about whatever, just having a bad day, and it affects you. Whether you think it's affecting you, it can kill the whole room basically. Like, oh great, here comes negative Nancy, coming in, with their bad attitude, and it's, you're in a bad mood, and then Jason's in a bad mood. It does have, that's the energy radiating outwards.
I'm never in a bad mood.
Right. And the thing about that, the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that energy that's radiating out, that's still a neutral energy, but it's affected by the negative intent of the person that's sending it out. Whether they realize they're sending it out like that or not, that's how quote-unquote negative energy will spread through a room like that, is because the person that it's radiating from has a bad attitude or is having a bad day or they're mad at something or whatever.
Yep.
The energy that they're sending off is still a neutral energy, but it is affecting, because it's not being directed, it's spreading their bad attitude, their bad intentions.
Right, and that's kind of how magic works with the whole energy thing, and that way of thinking. If I have an intention behind that, I'm able to use my energy to do whatever I want with it. Basically, if I want to put a curse on somebody, a spell, or.
Well, why would you need a curse or a spell? Why not? Okay, I'm going to send evil energy towards you. Why do I need curses and spells?
Because you're not just sending.
Well, that's just the thing. There's it's generally not, okay, I'm going to risk sounding spacey again here, but to an enlightened person, there is no need for stuff like that. But we're talking about old stuff. We're talking about old traditions, with the exception of Wicca. Wicca is not an old tradition. I don't care what anyone says. Wicca is only about 80 years old. So, but with the rest of this, the voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, all of that stuff, we're talking about centuries and millennia old tradition. And this is these things originated back in the time when
there was no time.
People were less evolved and more warlike and more,
ignorant.
You couldn't call the local sheriff and have them deal with the situation if someone was coming and killing your pigs or your chickens or whatever. You had to take matters into your own hands.
Right.
What do you do? You go visit the local wizard or witch or priest or whatever, and they take care of it for you.
Yeah.
And so we may not need stuff like that now, but this is stuff that's been passed down in tradition. Do you see what I'm saying there, Michelle?
I understand what you're saying. Do I believe it? No.
I don't have to.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and that's what this discussion is for, so we can bring all this out. So
it's kind of what we went into earlier.
So Michelle, I think you should go home and Google this stuff, try a few things, and see what happens.
I think that is a horrible idea.
Then we can come back next Sunday and she's like, guys.
Are you all feeling well?
She comes in here hopping like a frog.
See if we have any zombies walking in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I've just never talked to anybody about it, or And
well, why would you? I mean, unless you had a belief behind it or feeling that you needed. You know what?
And
I need some good luck from change, whatever, or I need some my neighbor's really pissing me off, kind of a thing. I need to get that person out of here. You know, who can I talk
But
to?
it goes beyond that. Like, it's not just for those two reasons.
Right.
I mean, there's a spirituality about it that.
Sure.
That's why they have the altars, and that's why they pray to them. Just like, I mean, it's just like a normal religion.
But-
like somebody who's going to sit down and pray to God every night.
Yeah.
They're going to sit down at their altar every night, and
Right.
But do you need all that, or is it just a simple belief of believing in it,
I don't know my
and the power of the mind?
Exactly, power of the mind.
Or do you
That's-
need all the artifacts and the candles
Go
and
to
the?
through belief.
I mean,
Yeah.
they.
I mean-
they do represent certain energies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is that energy just coming from us humans? Simple.
I would disagree with that.
Well, I can tell you on the artifacts and all that stuff, any of the ingredients that you might use in any kind of a spell or anything like that, those are not items that you're going to gather the energy from. Those are items that are going to help you channel the energy specifically for what you want it to do.
So then why would you need a chicken's foot or the blood from a goat?
If that's what.
Why?
the
I think that's what she's trying to say versus let me just will this.
The same answer. I see what you're saying, but it's the same answer. It's the energy that anything that goes into a spell or any kind of a magical working, the energy that those things naturally have about them is not going to be the energy that gets sent out. They're going to have specific qualities about them that will help you to channel the energy in the direction and for the purpose that you want it to accomplish.
But
It's all about channeling that energy. It's not about creating the energy. You know, I made a post on the chat group a while ago, or the chat thread, about the laws of thermodynamics. You know, at the risk of sounding spacey again because I'm combining science and magic, but the laws of thermodynamics still apply. You can't create nor destroy energy in any normal reaction.
Right.
You can only direct it.
That's a proven fact.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but
And that's,
Is
that's
it
what all
actually-
those,
is
the,
it-
the ingredients and artifacts are for, is to help you direct the energy.
it's
but could
based
it just
upon your
be in,
belief,
like
though.
he said, it just in you're doing this act, you're doing this certain stuff for spells to direct the energy, but could it just be your mind, your act? It has nothing to do with gathering the stuff, other than that you believe that you can push out this energy that way.
I don't think that it would affect the outside world if that was the case.
I mean, your mind can do just about anything. We haven't used it to
I mean, yes, but I don't think, like, if we were doing a spell.
But we don't know for sure.
Right, I mean,
Well,
that's
based
in
upon your
anything that we
beliefs and
deal
practices,
with.
though. Like I said, in your belief and practices, they use offerings, they use whatever it takes to. They have spell books that says you need to get through your average foots.
because that's what they've done
So
before,
be it.
and sometimes it's worked.
Oh, we don't know. There's been
I
part
mean,
of
yeah.
that.
I mean,
yeah.
I assume
every
that
time
that's
it
why
works,
they
I don't
do
know.
it, because
Yeah.
they, at some point in time, it worked.
It's possible. Yeah, it's their beliefs, like you said earlier. Depends on all what you believe in. If you believe that that's going to work, then
Like carrying
That's
around.
right.
But has there been
rabbit's
people
foot.
who don't believe, just wanted to see if it worked,
Yeah.
and it does?
But another thing that you have to keep in mind is, okay, so part of this is going to sound completely crazy to some of you guys. I know it will, but just hear me out. This is, like I said a while ago, this is all descended down from sometimes millennia old traditions.
right.
Okay, and it's not as crazy as it sounds to us. You have to take into account the fact that there have been countless people studying how this energy works over the course of that time to develop that path to where it is now. I mean, I read a piece of a page out of a grimoire here a while back that, I mean, it was okay. This is going to sound kind of crazy, but for a specific spell in this grimoire, it literally called for 2 drops of blood from the caster's left nipple. I kid you not. Look it up. It's in the Icelandic, the company's name, the company that published the book is the Icelandic Magic Company. And the name of the book is The Sorcerer's Creed. Okay, so, why 2 drops of blood from the left nipple? Well,
what if you got it wrong and did the right?
Well, for the purpose of that spell, this is something that they have learned over the course of time, the symbology behind it and the energy behind that specific area of the body.
Because of the heart?
It will shape the energy that you're sending out in the casting of that spell to the effect and the purpose that you want it.
Right. Maybe because it's underneath, your heart's supposed to be underneath it, maybe more so, and it's possibly,
so.
I mean, there's something behind.
Sure.
Right, no. I'll throw some photos out there.
I haven't bought the book yet, and I haven't had time to really research into that.
Right.
That very much, but I mean, there's the thing about it is like I was saying, these traditions are, hundreds, sometimes millennia old traditions that people have put their life's work into developing these traditions and these paths, and they put a lot of intelligence and study and energy into figuring out how all these things will affect the energy that you send out.
Yep, I mean, I agree.
So it's centuries of research.
In essence.
Yeah.
Yeah, in reality. And again, it comes from people doing research, people doing the study.
I would have to see the spell.
Right.
In order for me to believe, I would have to see an actual spell work.
So then you got
You
Google.
got
No.
But you
Don't
also
do
have
that.
to. You gotta also
Disclaimer.
remember there are
Don't
people
do
who
it.
research this stuff, and for this kind of stuff for centuries. Just like every day today, we have people who research every day. Their job is to go out and research certain things, and they do it all the time.
Like,
and
who
they
would have thought
have.
you can rub the left bottom part of your toe and a headache go away, or arthritis feel better? I mean, look how much
It's
research.
called reflexology.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, it's no
Of course he
different.
would know.
I know.
I mean,
that makes me
Well,
laugh.
yeah, it is. I mean, because then you got actual
but how
physical.
much research had to go into that before somebody actually figured it out?
Right.
So you can't. You're never going to know until you try it.
Exactly.
Just out of a weird coincidence thing that I read the other night on Facebook, but it was an
Credible
article.
source. Credible
It
source.
was the phrase "blowing smoke up one's ass" is an actual thing that they used
I
to
saw that
do.
too.
They actually used, yeah.
Yeah, I read that too.
When people
It's
were
actual
drowning,
practice.
mind you, when they were drowning and they were thinking they were dead, someone came up with the idea of using tobacco enemas. Well, in one incident,
Leo, what are
they
you
just
doing?
had a tobacco pipe and it was smoking. A woman fell in, she looked dead. They tried to revive her. They blew smoke up her butt, and she woke up from that because of the sensation and from the ash, from the tobacco. All that revived her.
Yeah.
But they would never known it had they not tried it. And what makes them think of tobacco enemas and stuff like that? Who knows? But somebody had to do the research in order to do it and find out that that was working.
I don't want to know what research they're
I know.
doing.
I don't know want to know where their brains were
Hey
at.
guys, I
But
stumbled across this last night. Let's try it.
yeah.
Interesting.
It's and another thing like that. Oh shoot.
What?
That artificial vanilla flavor that you get in certain things.
Oh yeah.
What about it?
Yeah.
You smoked out your butt too? Or
No.
what?
That's
what he does at night when he's not answering.
I won't go into this. No,
Oh
never
no,
mind.
you
Never
can't open
mind.
those
No,
can
no,
of worms.
no.
And I go, come on.
No, I'm gonna let that go for a little bit.
Are you? I have to know though. Are you hinting on just like the fake raspberry preserves in a cake are supposed to be from a beaver's
just
glands?
it's
Anal glands.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jason,
Yeah.
can I ask you this? Did it
Yes,
come
sir.
from the same place as artificial raspberry flavoring?
It's like you don't even listen to me.
Yeah,
He didn't hear you.
that
Yeah.
artificial vanilla flavor. They for some reason said, "Oh, that tastes just like the anal glands of a beaver," and that's what they used.
It's a direct quote.
Wow.
They actually used that. Whoever thought, for one, that they're eating the glands or the anal glands of the juice of the beaver, and thought, this
It
tastes like vanilla.
raspberries.
No, vanilla flavor.
Well, raspberries is the same way
Vanilla.
they
Well.
for anal glands.
So
But
it's not,
yeah.
it's not chicken. I'm just kidding.
No,
Everything
not
tastes like
chicken. It's not chicken. But somebody had to do it in order to find it, and then before you know it, you could be eating that with your yogurt.
I won't be.
I mean, I'm just saying, you don't know exactly what you're eating because, I mean, it's the research people put into stuff. And just like you're saying, centuries of research goes into all this. There's got to be something to it.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have to agree.
I do believe in the research that people do. There's got to be an outcome to it that we use every single day or have heard about, and it's got to be,
Maybe the show needs to have a
beavers?
A taste testing?
No.
Beer.
What are you talking about?
beer.
Uh,
No, like maybe a lab.
a what?
A lab. We try some.
Oh, a
stuff.
lab.
Good stuff though.
We try out some stuff? No.
Yeah, good stuff.
I don't think that would be.
You
It's
keep
lab.
your
It's like going
vanilla to
school.
yourself.
You take science, and then you have your
Yeah,
lab
but-
class. We have our regular, and then it's like Martha Stewart cook show. We do lab.
No, that's Martha.
I'd like to
Martha's
have
at home.
somebody come in.
Yeah.
I'd like to have guests in here that actually have done research and actually show
Right.
show
Yeah,
stuff,
because
talk
us
to us,
trying it could
everything.
end very badly.
What's that?
Us doing it ourselves could end.
Yeah,
it could
we
be
just-
fun though.
It could be bad. It could be so
Well, I'll
bad.
tell you, in all my years of research, I've never seen a spell or any kind of magic that revolves around the anal glands of a beaver. So,
That's good to know. That's really. I gotta Google real quick. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what to do with
that devolved really quickly,
Of
didn't it?
course.
Yes, it did. We went from black magic to
didn't touch
beaver
black magic yet.
to beaver. Oh no, it didn't.
Oh. We just talked about witchcraft. That's all we talked about.
You went to the beavers, but
Yeah.
I know. No, I was trying to make a point. I was
There
just
is a
trying to
bigger
make a
butt
point
spell.
that,
I know, I
that's-
know, I know,
Oh,
I know.
But the whole,
Please don't tell
I
me.
mean, all that stuff.
There-
It's just
There is a
people
bigger
do it.
butt spell.
How they do it? It's like
Why?
I don't know.
Feces spell. Shit on them spell. Okay.
What are you looking up over there,
Feces
man?
spell.
Why do you favor it?
What?
Why is it to your favorites? I'm just kidding around.
This is Jeremiah's computer?
Oh, this is your this is your computer, Jeremiah.
What?
Oh my god.
He's looking up some bad things on here now. So
Oh my god.
that's just funny.
Feces spell. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, there's a feces spell, man. I don't know what's going on.
Sounds something that Max would
I'm gonna
make.
blame that one on kids because I know how to use
Yeah, I know.
Google Incognito.
This is true, probably.
You use that incognito a lot, Jeremiah? Is that what you're saying?
Oh my god. Yeah. So, what do you think about going from witchcraft to black magic? How do you feel? Because it's kind of closely related. They all are kind of closely related. You can take little bits and pieces of each one and cross them over to, one does a practice of a spell, one does a curse, one does a, I'm only using it for medicinal purposes kind of a thing. But I mean, black magic is what it is. It's more darker. It's more you're just satanic worshiping. It's there to do evil, basically. What black magic is.
And it
Right.
comes with every
It's,
single one we've talked about.
Just from my knowledge, I don't believe that black magic myself, I don't believe is contained all within one specific tradition.
Right.
I think pretty much every tradition that deals in any kind of magical art has the potential for black magic.
Yeah, it has roots in it. Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff come from some darker, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Darker events, rituals and castings and stuff.
Right.
And so, yeah, enough to seem to chill up my spine, even if you know, and you guys know what that means. So.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's out there, and it's definitely real.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, and you hear about infamous case in Sally House where they went and practiced in the basement a black magic ritual, which was satanic worshiping. They put the pentagram in the basement. That to this day, still, no matter what they do, scrub it, it won't go away. Basically, it always resurfaces for whatever reason. They can't figure out what it's made of.
They do it in blood.
They don't know. Well, no blood. I guess blood could always be there, but if you did a black light, you should be able to see it. I mean,
sure.
the antibodies, whatever, anticoagulant, whatever it's called. But no, it's just for whatever reason they can't figure out what it's made of and why they painted over it multiple times, and here it keeps resurfacing. And of course, now all this supposedly bad happenings are, you know, if you go in the basement, you're going to get scratched, you're going to get whatever.
Right.
I mean,
you know, there are. And it kind of goes back to in that specific case, I think it kind of has to go back to something that was mentioned a while ago, and I can't remember who mentioned it, but you know, people that get in and dabble in this stuff that don't know what they're doing, you know, we're gonna go perform this black mass, even though we've never seen one. We don't know what it's about, and you know, we're gonna see what happens. And then, you know, then you end up with stuff like the Sally House.
yeah.
Because you know, and I would tend, you know, of course, I'm not as familiar with the history of that place as you guys are, so I don't know if that's actually what happened. But
Right.
that would be my guess. More than anything.
Right. Well, it started out as a simple haunting, I feel, of a child possibly in a family or whatever, you know, but throughout the years there was one owner that went in and did their rituals in the basement for whatever reason, if that's just how they believed, whatever, they did their black magic or their satanic worshiping in the basement with this pentagram, and to this day it still resurfaces no matter how many times they paint over it and try to figure out what it's made of, and they think that's where some of the evil stems from, basically, not necessarily the girl itself, or maybe the girl's being affected by it. I don't know. I really don't know that aspect of it, the angle of it, other than everybody sees this little girl's ghost supposedly, and they somewhere along the line somebody gave her the name of Sally because they thought they said, "What's your name?" when they heard Sally. For all I know, it could be Mary, it could be something else. We don't know.
Right.
There's not 100% lineage that says there's a girl named Sally that lived there, to my knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
So
She's possibly a patient that died.
yeah.
Okay.
But we don't know if her name was Sally. I mean, they just gave it to her, I think, to my understanding. But
Right.
I mean, you know, stuff like that can definitely leave a mark on a property. You know, when you get into the deeper workings of some of this stuff, I mean, there can be portals opened up. There can be, you know.
There's people who go out to cemeteries that do that stuff. There's people who have gone out. Yeah, Stoll, Kansas.
That's one of them.
You go out to the Theorosis Bridge here in town, or in Valley Center up north. There's symbols that were on the bridge at one time.
Right.
And they actually found, like, up underneath the bridge, symbols, and they found animal remains and stuff down there too.
I mean, I believe it. So does it turn a simple haunting into something different? I mean, possibly, maybe. Does it change the energy in the room, or whatever you want to call it? I mean,
well, you know, it's just like you know, we had the example floating around a while ago about you know, if it's someone that's having a bad day and has a bad attitude walks into a room, you know, and that can kill the good vibe in a room real quick.
right.
Well, the same thing can happen in my beliefs anyway. The same thing can happen when we're dealing with ghosts and spirits. You know, if you've got something that, you know, it's just like, okay, so you've got this this place, and it's just a really nice place, and it's you know, it always feels good to be there. But then, you know, if someone takes a 5-gallon bucket of black oil and throws it on the wall and makes it ugly, people aren't going to like to be there anymore. And the people that do have to spend time there, well, that's going to, however small it may be, that's going to affect their mood.
Right. Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Just the psychological effect of it. Well, who's to say the same thing can't happen in the spirit world, where if you have some sort of a black mass or a dark ritual of some sort going on, if it leaves a mark there, or residual dark energy, or dark stain on the place, who's to say it's not going to have the same kind of effect on whatever spirits are residing around there? Does that make sense? Am I explaining that?
No, yeah, absolutely. What about you?
Yeah. No, I mean, I understood it, yeah. Michelle, you have any thoughts or questions on that?
Well, it's just that, I mean, you're talking about energies with the witchcraft, but this is more, seems to me, you're talking more demonic. You're calling on Satan, you're calling on demons and stuff. It's not.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And it could change. It could change the haunting, which we've been in places where we go there and it's one thing. We go back a month later or a year later, and all of a sudden it's something completely different. So
right.
Okay, so what the hell's going on now? What did you? It's kind of like the house in Granola.
Yeah.
It evolved almost every time something different was happening. I know you guys, but I know you guys kind of figured that one out a little bit.
Right.
So, but what I'm meaning is, it just seems though, some places that we've been to, it changed.
Yeah.
From one visit to the next.
Right.
Well, even here.
Yeah. Right here in this building too.
Yeah. One day you're coming in and there's people working or something. The next day, things are being thrown at Jeremiah, like,
Could there have been an object brought into here that shouldn't be? That evolved something?
Wasn't by us, know that.
No.
But I mean, I'm saying.
Or could it be just our meetings, the subjects we're talking about? Could that be drawing in?
Very good.
Not only that, but there's also been a lot of other public activity around there lately too. The owners of the building have been moving a lot of stuff around, and
That's true.
This is all stuff that could affect the energy and the mood of the place spiritually for these spirits that are residing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually reached out to me a couple days ago and asked if we were going to come in here and do something pretty quick to see if anything had changed or.
Let's say we can. Just pencil it in
One
somewhere.
day.
We got a full schedule ahead of us.
Yeah.
We got about 10 minutes. Where do you guys want to go with this? We got about 10 minutes left.
Well, I mean, I don't know why. I've always been intrigued by the black magic. I don't know why. The darker things intrigue me more. Probably because it's scarier. The darker, the scarier it is, the better. The more attention I give to it. I don't know why. It's just it intrigues me. Like I said, it's the unknown. I think of what I like about it. That's why I tend to go to voodoo more and stuff like that, because it has its deeper roots and darker roots. But
it is interesting the more I've read up on it.
Yeah. No. Even when I shouldn't say this, but I'm not gonna say it actually. I won't. I'll tell you guys off air. I don't know. Yeah.
I have a feeling.
I don't want to encourage people out there, viewership out there, to do certain things. That's why.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Do not do this.
They all kind of, like you talked about, Jeremiah, they all kind of have their roots in the same. Well, we even mentioned they all kind of play off one another in many different ways. They're similar in nature. They just all have a different purpose, I guess, and intention, like you talked about.
Right.
how each one kind of, I think, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, they all make use of they all have, the one thing they all have in common is they all make use of the same energy. But the thing that makes the difference is the culture, basically, that each tradition has evolved out of.
Right.
You know, how peaceful was the culture, how warlike was the culture, how you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, what kind of need was going on at the point of origin? You know, was there a famine? You know, in the location? You know, wherever these things originated, when they originated, was there a famine going on, and these people were desperate and looking for something to fill their needs? You know, there's all kinds of stuff that has to go into that has gone into forming these different traditions. So,
yeah.
Very true.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it depends what the people want to do with it, what their intentions are, and the direction. Like I said, they're trying to, like you kind of mentioned right there, what they're trying to achieve overall,
right,
and how much energy or how much they put behind it, kind of a thing. Go ahead, Sarah.
So basically, we just need to be careful on what we do, what everybody needs to do.
I don't understand.
Right behind me.
I don't know. It could have been on the phone too.
But yeah, we just need to be more respectful for everything that we do.
Right.
And but, you know, you always have everybody out there that's going to dive into stuff that they don't understand.
Exactly.
Which we've dealt with before in that
Right.
aspect with some people.
Yep. I've
but
told
yeah.
people before, I mean, it looks all fun and games. What we do on a daily basis with this, it all looks like fun and games on TV, and you hear us talking about it and supporting it and all that stuff. But I mean, when it boils down to it, there's stuff that we do not understand. There's stuff that
There's still a risk that
a risk we take. You know, we're not always protected. Just because we tell something, you gotta stay here, doesn't mean it's gonna stay there. You know, or you know, you're not. You know, we call things out all the time. Hey, we're calling out specific. You know, whatever, and something else is coming in along with it. Kind of thing. I mean, there's no fail safe to this.
Well, just
right.
like in the
And
book.
to anyone that wants to research any of this, that might listen to this, I would strongly encourage always look before you leap.
Proceed with caution. Yeah, but I agree with that 100%. Because
I'm not going to tell anyone not to do, you know, not to follow something that feels right to them or whatever. But yes, absolutely, proceed with caution and excuse me. Research, read. I mean, there's stuff out there that you can get a hold of and learn.
I mean, that's how we learned.
Find the community.
Yep.
So.
Maybe a cult. I don't know if you'd call it a community.
I didn't say that.
You're an ass.
He said, "Look before you leave. Pay attention."
Not join a cult.
Oh my god. No, I mean, and all kidding us.
There's a nice community out west.
Have you been there? Is that how you know?
Yeah.
All kidding aside, I mean, we do, like I said, we do take the necessary precautions when we go into a case. That's why we do the pre-interviews. We do things, the follow-up, the history behind it, just to make sure that we're not jumping in head first into something we don't know, we don't understand. I mean, we take our precautions too, because like I told you, we're not protected all the time. We think we are, but I mean, it doesn't mean we're gonna be.
So many different things that we don't even know
Right.
happen.
Yeah. Yep. So overall, I mean, it's a weird topic. It can go in many different directions. I mean, we've seen, like I said last week, talked about the pop culture side of things that could have been brought about by some of this stuff, or you know, we've talked about a few cases along the way that we've kind of touched base with these. One shape, form, or another of what we talked about tonight also too.
Right.
And there's some down the road we probably haven't discovered yet that's going to hit us in the face one of these days.
Right.
But like Jeremiah said, anything, we will definitely do the research before we dive in. We're not just going to go in, you know, blindly and hope for the best.
Right.
So, yep. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, guys. Any final thoughts on anything? Anything you want to talk about, discuss? Or...
I got a question.
No.
What,
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeremiah, since you're on the phone, where does the payback fall in? You know, with the voodoo and the hoodoo and the black magic, the good magic, whatever it is. I know that there's some things like back in Tahlequah where there was supposed to be something paid back,
Right.
and eventually
The creek,
it quit.
down in the creek.
Well, not necessarily the creek.
Talking about the property itself.
Talking about property
Property
itself.
itself.
By like the planting of trees and things.
Okay, Rose, I know what you're talking about. Sometimes that's kind of deeper into more studied practices, but and sometimes there are magical workings of a type that have to be maintained over time.
Right.
And that can lead into other troubles too when the maintenance on that fall behind. I believe what Rope was referring to offhand was the guardians on that property down there that were summoned, and that some believed to be a large portion of the activity that we were having down there. You know, as part of that deal, when those things were summoned, they were supposed to be fed every night. You know, I don't remember what it was, milk, honey, table scraps, or whatever, you know, left on the back porch for them every night. And that maintenance fell behind. Eventually, it just got forgotten about altogether. And according to some of the stories that we heard, that's when the activity really started getting bad down there.
So does that, okay, before it even gets to that point, does that come from, what type of magic is that? Or is that...
Well, what we were dealing with down there was that part of it at least would have been a Native American folk magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's in almost every tradition or path, there are deeper, more experienced, more taught learnings that are like that magic that sometimes has to be maintained over a period of time.
Not only that, but that's also where sacrifice comes in as well. Sacrifice doesn't always have to be a chicken or a goat or some blood. It could be the fact that you have to plant a tree once a year.
Well, think about it in terms of those, and this may be just urban legend, I don't know, but the whole selling your soul to the devil kind of to get immediate riches or whatever, you know, kind of a thing. Like the old blues men down in the South, they supposedly to get better.
The crossroads.
Yeah, they meet you at the crossroads. You would sell yourself to the devil. Yes, you would have great success. You become one of the best bluesmen around, but then someday he's gonna knock on your door and come collecting. You know,
Right.
you have to pay
Like
pay your
Rumpelstiltskin.
debt. Yeah, exactly like that. I mean,
I'll give you what you ask,
right.
but in return...
Right.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
even the legend of jinns and genies. Granting wishes, but they don't come out.
Boy, that would be a good one to talk about. That'd be interesting.
I'd go for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. So I mean, there's in all this we do, or in all this type of practice, is magic and stuff like that. There's a risk and a reward. I mean, the risk could be, you know, it comes back on you tenfold, or you know, it could be the fact that you get you what you asked for, and then
It's not
now
what
what are
you
you gonna do for
expected.
me? Yeah, or you open up something you didn't really expect to happen. You know, it's a risk you take. I mean, they take
Right.
whatever. So overall, I mean, it's interesting topics. I mean, you can dive in each one of these even deeper and get really, really dirty as far as what you're exploring and, you know, finding out.
Yeah.
This is just a brief overview of kind of what we know about it, some of the stuff we've seen along the way, and just overall our take on it. We have about a minute left, so let's kind of wrap this up. I'm glad you called in, Jeremiah. I was really disappointed you weren't here tonight because I knew you have a vast knowledge on this, and I'm glad you called in. So it helped move things along.
I'm glad I was able to. It just happened so that I was actually able to. So anyway, It's good talking to you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here.
Cool. We'll talk to you soon, sir.
All right, sounds good.
Take care, buddy.
All right. See ya.
So, anybody else? Any final thoughts?
No, that was interesting, but there's so much to it that
So much.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different angles to it that it's hard to categorize it all in 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Because you can like jump into so many different stories.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you can get down to exactly, you pinpoint probably where it even started from and why it was even brought about, and just in general,
Different
work your way back
legends,
up
myths,
and branch out this way and that way. I mean, it's like Jeremiah said, most of this has been practiced for centuries. It's not just necessarily for
Right.
what we, the modern times.
well,
Okay.
we are
Thanks for watching, bye.
we're going to be busy this next couple weeks.
Yeah, we have a lot of cases coming up.
Yeah, a lot of cases coming up. But we'll still be here. Hopefully, every Sunday, as long as we can make it.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of traveling going on.
Next
coming up.
Sunday.
I won't be here, and then
Yeah,
I'll be
it's gonna
non-stop.
be.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
We'll figure it out. So just stay tuned to all of our Facebook pages, the Road Trip Paranormal one, the Everyday Legacy Paranormal one, and also
When I
the
do a
Cryptic Heartland.
podcast in Martha's basement.
Yeah, we might figure something out, and we'll keep you updated throughout the weeks. This week, if we're coming back next weekend, or what we're gonna do. So. That being said, thanks to everybody at home watching tonight. Thanks to all the guests in the studio. Thanks to the panel. Once again, this is Cryptic Heartland Podcast, episode number 17. And we'll see you soon.
All right.
Saying goodnight, y'all.
see ya.
So, question.